Brain freeze! Starbucks Frappuccino early on this Monday morning. We took that sumbitch down in 2.3 seconds. What? Amplified unit, get up! It's time to get amplified. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time now, and I knew it had to be the amplified man to do such in order to make it and do it justice. Because this is a video that needs to be amplified. Of course, I'm talking scripted promos in today's professional wrestling, more specifically WWE, where it seems like 99% of their superstars are lacking two main ingredients: charisma and personality. In today's WWE, they go through the Performance Center and they have promo classes. Get your pens, get your notebooks. We're going to class, students. Please, I spit on that. That is bullshit. You either have it or you don't. You can captivate people or you can't. Teaching people how to have charisma and personality and how to speak about a story being told or a feud that you should be trying to captivate people and hang on every word that you're saying. If you need to be taught that, then you're in deeper waters than you originally thought. What made Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior back in the day larger than life wasn't just the wrestling, I assure you. Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior were never known for their wrestling ability. But their promos, whether you could understand them or not, whether you knew what they were talking about or not, they captivated you, didn't they? Their persona jumped off the screen and it propelled them to the next level and stages in their careers. You go to the Attitude Era with Stone Cold, The Rock, even Triple H. They could captivate you with their promos. Today, who do we have? It's rhetorical. Nobody. We have Bray Wyatt, maybe Drew McIntyre, but 50-50 booking ruined them. So it's not believable no matter what comes out of their mouth. Hopefully this new Bray Wyatt, they give a real chance to. Daniel Bryan, possibly the best option, but some would say and argue his best days are done. So who have we really been clinging on to, holding on to the past several years when it comes to promos? Honestly, Paul Heyman. Think about that. Your best promo guy in the business, in that company anyway, has been Paul Heyman, a guy who's not even a wrestler. What's the next 5 years look like for WWE's best promo person? Is it going to be Zelina Vega? If so, this company has issues. And again, the Performance Center is where the problem lies first and foremost. Everybody's got to go through promo class where they suck the life out of you. Any charisma and personality you do have, they'll suck it out of you because they want a carbon copy robot. Every superstar looks like they come from some mass-produced factory in WWE. They're all the same robotic carbon copy of one another. And it's pathetic. You either have it or you don't. If somebody said amplified man, in 5 seconds the red light's about to go on and we need you to cut a 60-second promo on the YWC, I would say, give me the red light. Amplified man, you're on in 3, 2, 1. Let me tell you something about the YWC, or as I call them, the Nerd Herd. They get together at all the big pay-per-views, and they have these Q&A panels, and they have these little meet and greets, so they can feel better about themselves. They can make themselves feel important and special, and forget about their otherwise lackadaisical, pathetic, loser life that they live on a daily basis. That is the truth. You got a guy with a Fire Road Dog hashtag, and the second he meets him, he begs him for a job. Pathetic. You got another guy who gives ups and downs on every single Monday Night Raw. And even though every Raw is tragic trash, somehow there ends up being more ups than downs. Pathetic. Exposed as being a fraud. Either that is the dumbest wrestling fan in the world or they are lying to their audience. Either way, I spit on how pathetic they are. I spit on the ground they walk on. In one way or the other, every single YWC member will be dealt with accordingly in the amplified, most amplified way possible, I assure you. Buckle up. The fun has just begun. The amplification has just begun. YWC, you've been warned. End promo. Right there, in that 60 seconds, I captivated you more than probably 99+% of the promos in WWE today. Am I right? Of course. So my question is, why is the Amplified Man more entertaining than 99% of the superstars today? Why is the Amplified Man cutting better promos than 99% of the superstars today? First and foremost, it's because it's in my blood. It's what makes me pulse. It's in me. It's that it factor. But on top of that, I did 3 simplistic things that every promo should have. I told you why. Why is this promo being cut? What is my beef with YWC? And by the way, there really isn't none. I have 0 beef with the YWC, anybody in them actually. I take shots, I take some jabs, but there's no real beef in the YWC. Just like in any competitive platform, it's okay to take some shots and jabs. It's okay to compete. It's okay to out-alpha the next person. That's what I do. I don't have any real beef. If it comes to such, it'll be dealt with, I assure you. But I'm good. That was just a promo. But that's what I mean. When you're good at what you do, you'll make people believe that there is beef. That's not actually there. And again, those 3 simplistic things. Why? Why is the promo being cut? Well, I told you in that 60 seconds, it's because I feel I'm better than them. I feel that they're portraying themselves in a pathetic way, and I feel that they are nothing but frauds in the industry, especially on this platform. So then I go into simplistic number 2, which is my frustrations, voicing my anger and displeasure. Surely I did that in that 60 seconds when we got amplified. Simplistic value number 3 in this. The third thing that every promo should have, what are you gonna do about it? What am I gonna do about it? So I have a problem, I voice my displeasure, and the third thing is, what am I gonna do about it? I said at the end of that promo, everyone would be dealt with accordingly, amplified style. That leaves your audience captivated and having to tune in to see what happens next. Those 3 things is what every promo needs. Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley on Talk Is Jericho said it best when he said he once did like 20 different promos for WWE in one day, and at the end of the day, he didn't know what any of them were for. He said they didn't have any meaning. He didn't know what it was leading to. None of them made sense. And that is why it doesn't captivate your audience. That's why nobody cared about it, and that's why promos are killing these superstars. It didn't have the 3 things you need in a promo. Why is the promo being cut? What are your frustrations? Voicing them. And number 3, what are you going to do about it? I showed you in that 60 seconds a promo that would leave viewers wanting and needing to see more. If you don't think promos make a world of difference in the average Joe Schmo seeing if a superstar is lackluster mid-card or larger than life, you don't know what you're talking about. Luckily, the Amplified Man is teaching the class today, because I assure you, promos make a world of difference in creating larger-than-life superstars, or the average wrestling fan looking at them as Joe Schmoes. And if your promos are not on point, you ain't gonna be on point with today's wrestling fan, I assure you. I'm gonna show you a little clip of what I'm talking about. This is the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and this isn't back in the day in his prime. This isn't when he just began. This isn't a little at the tail end of his prime. This is the Nature Boy Ric Flair just this past weekend. He just got out of the hospital again, another 12 days, 4 days with a tube down his throat. He was told to take it easy. He starts to say thank you on a YouTube video to his fans, and within 5 seconds, he's cutting a promo. Why? Because it's the only thing he knows how to do. It's in him. And that's what I mean about it being in you. People can make fun of Hulk Hogan or Terry Bollea for always being Hulk Hogan 24/7, or Jim Hellwig always being the Ultimate Warrior 24/7, or Randy Poffo always being Randy Savage 24/7, but they were larger than life, weren't they? You hung on everything they did and said, didn't you? It's because they were epic. their persona jumped off the screen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I miss that in today's superstars. Even Stone Cold. Stone Cold, Steve Williams, right now, Steve Williams, when he's doing his podcast, I promise you, that's Steve Austin. If he wants to pump that volume meter up a little bit, he will become Stone Cold Steve Austin. 24/7, that's within him. Those are your best superstars. When it ain't just a character, but it's actually a part of who you are. It is your persona. It's your personality. It's the charisma that comes out of you. It's just natural. The Amplified Man, he is always in BC 24/7. At any time, he can come out. And that's what captivates an audience. That's why in just a couple years, we're headed toward 12,000 subscribers already. You captivate people because there's not a fakeness to it. There's a reality. People can see through fake and fraud. But when you're real, you will captivate an audience. Watch this Ric Flair promo. Again, he just got out of the hospital when this is being recorded. And he's already cutting a promo. Because it's who he is. We'll come right back and we're going to talk about it.
I'm telling you, I don't care about who's the greatest of all time. I want to be the guy that influenced the most people, from pop music to wrestling to rock and roll to style and profiling. That's me. And I'm never going to get old. I got a wife that wants a 35-year-old man every day of her life. She needs that 35-year-old man. Look at my wife. Hell, I'm not going to be my age. I don't care how many doctors tell me. You've got to learn to grow up. You've got to act like you're... I'm not going to act like my age. Don't ever tell me that. I'm paying you to make me better so that I can be me. That's me. And that's all I'm ever going to be. Good or bad.
Woo! The only way the Nature Boy knows how to be himself. That is who he is. It's natural to him. And because of that, he captivated an audience worldwide. I understand there's not a lot of individuals like that in the world. Even back in the day, you had your Hogans, Macho Mans, Ultimate Warriors, the Ric Flairs, a few others as well. Then the Attitude Era, you had the Rocks and the Stone Colds and even Triple H. And today, it just doesn't seem like today's younger guys and gals just have that passion in them. It's weird. Great wrestlers, and that's awesome. It's a wrestling show. But what makes pro wrestling epic is the promos and the storytelling as well. I'm not seeing this charisma in today's wrestlers. I'm not seeing this passion. I'm not seeing this over-the-top, larger-than-life personality. And that is a great concern to me. Even in the Ricochets or the Mustafa Ali's. It's concerning to me. Because that is what makes the characters that we hang on the things they say and do, and what gets us to the pay-per-views and makes us need to watch those big matches. Not want to watch them, we need to. Because the promos and the storytelling leading up to those pay-per-view matches, yeah, it was beyond epic. We have to see the final outcome. I don't see it anymore in today's wrestlers, man. So everybody looks at Ric Flair, and you might feel bad, and you might say, Flair, you just got out of the hospital. Relax, man. Relax. No, there's no relaxing in a human being that is oozing passion and has an over-the-top personality. I don't know how many different ways and how many times I have to tell people this. The Warrior's life was cut in half, no question. But if you told him that he could get another 20 years out of his life, and all he had to do was cut down his passion, cut down his amplification, cut down his warrior mentality, maybe the Warrior would say, screw that. I ain't doing it. I have to live to the fullest, the only way I know how. Like Flair said in that promo, man. It was epic. How many individuals do you see actually come out and say, I don't want to grow up. I'm not going to grow up. This is who I am. Accept me for who I am. Flair is asking you to do such. Has he not earned all of our respect to give him that? Sometimes we have to stop being the caregivers. Sometimes we have to stop being mommy and daddy. Sometimes we have to stop playing nurse or doctor and let people live the way they want to live and how the only way that makes them feel fulfilled. And you get to live however you want to live. That's the beauty of the world. Don't worry about other people, worry about yourselves. It is cool, it is nice to care for others. But when somebody is asking you, please, let me live how I want, it's all I know how to do. The first time out of the hospital, Flair tried to make all these changes and he was doing so good and he had to go back in. So this time he was probably like, fuck it, man. The last year plus of my life, I didn't feel like myself and I still got brought back in the hospital for over a week. So shit, if I'm going out sooner or later, I'm going out my way. And I hope people can give me that respect to let me be who I am. That's what I get from that minute to 2 minute promo. And I love it. This world and human beings are missing passion today more than ever. Passion, a sense of being, a sense of urgency, a sense of amplification that'll get the job done and catapult you past the average Joe Schmo. We were not created as human beings to be average, to be mediocre. We were created to be the best, to compete, to beat. We can help others along the way. We can be nice to others along the way. We can be humane along the way. No doubt, check in all those boxes. But you gotta be the best you can possibly be. And without passion, without the urgency and the amplification to be your very best, you're not gonna get far, I assure you. Flair got really far in this business, and it wasn't just his wrestling skills. He knew how to be larger than life in a business that, oh, I don't know, here's a concept you need to be larger than life in. In this same promo, fuck it, I'll play it for you guys real quick. There was a part 2, and he actually laid into Shawn Michaels a little bit. I'm going to play a few seconds of this, and this is Flair actually talking about Michaels. We'll come right back, and I'll just give you my thoughts on why he's really upset with Michaels. Listen to this real quick first.
Yes, and Shawn Michaels, I'm sorry, but you're not in a position to judge me, buddy. Telling me I'll never know who Richard Flair is? Really? Do you think I'll ever know? I don't know. Richard Flair, like I said before, was an irresponsible kid who was blessed with the greatest parents in the world, did everything wrong. And by the way, who are you to judge me? I mean, really? Come on, man, let's get serious. You've opened the door, so you opened the door, I'm giving it back to you. Who are you to judge me? I mean, you kidding me? You idolized me, and then all of a sudden contempt for what? For what you grew up loving it, for what you inspired you to be who you are? I don't think so, man.
Yowie wowie, as Bray Wyatt would say. Ric Flair has some words and a little bit of a beef with Shawn Michaels. And it's interesting because Jim Ross also had some very real, deep comments about Ric Flair during that 30 for 30 special on Ric Flair. But I think Shawn Michaels' comments hurt and cut a little deeper for Ric Flair than Jim Ross, because while Ross and Flair knew each other for most of Flair's life, and Ross is one of his confidants and good friends in the business, Shawn Michaels is more of one of the boys. He's more of a direct peer. Shawn Michaels has told Flair on so many occasions, Flair is the reason he got into the business. Flair was his role model. He idolized Flair growing up. And now here's Shawn Michaels saying, I feel bad for him. It's sad what has happened to him. And I don't think that Ric Flair ever, or Richard Flair, and Ric Flair ever got to meet or know one another. I don't know if Ric Flair ever really got to know Richard Flair. That cuts deeper when it's actually one of your boys and somebody who once looked up to you and they no longer do. That's going to cut deeper, man, and that's what you saw. You got a guy who, just touched death, came back to life again, just got out of the hospital. A lot of things are going through his head. A lot of emotions are running through him. So you're going to get raw truth or how he really feels. And Shawn Michaels hurt him. And he said several times in part 1 and part 2 of those promos, he said, I know who was there for me and I know who wasn't. And he said, I know who wasn't twice. I didn't play you the full promo in both part 1 and 2. But trust me, he said on more than one occasion, I know who wasn't there for me. It's like when I was a stupid teenager growing up and I finally got sent away to prison. And I knew who my real friends are because they came and visited. And they called, or they let me, you can't just call prison. They let me call them and we shot the shit while I was locked up. But I also knew who wasn't there for me. And if you thought I forgot about that when I got released, if you thought that there wasn't receipts about to be cashed in or cashed back, oh, the Amplified Man was coming to those doorsteps. You know, when something tragic happens, man, you remember who was there for you and who wasn't there for you. Michaels wasn't there for him in his time of need. And then he hears these comments like he just feels sad for him. And things like that, man, that set Flair off. Now, I think by now, Shawn Michaels has reached out, and maybe they squashed it. Who knows? But that was a big story this week, and I'm telling you why that was, man. Shawn Michaels is looked at in a different way by Ric Flair than how Flair looks at somebody like Jim Ross. Two different people, two different entities, two different sides of the spectrum and two different sides of the coin. When you talk about your peers in the business, Ross is on one side, absolutely, but on the other side, you got your actual boys, the ones you're going to war with. So it's always sad when they kind of turn on you. But it was just so interesting how Flair dropped that bit of truth, that personal info and beef within one of his promos. Because again, that's just how he lives, man. It could be storyline, it could be reality. He's going to put it all into the Nature Boy Richard/Ric Flair's promo package. Always listen to every word he's saying because you're going to get a wealth of knowledge from the Ric Flair Encyclopedia of Wrestling. I assure you. Again, storyline-wise or just his real-life shit. It's all going to come out in his promos. He doesn't hide shit. He doesn't put it on the back burner. He's real. It's who he is, and you're going to get it in his promos. And again, that takes us full circle to where we started in this video. Promos, man. Just be real. You know what I mean? Tell your stories, but do it in a way where we can suspend the disbelief and believe in what you're telling us. The Ric Flairs, the Hogans, the Savages, the Warriors, the Stone Colds, the Rocks, even the Triple H's, man. They had it just in them. When the red light went on, they were going to tell you a story. Sit back, grab your popcorn and soda pop, and enjoy the story being told. These days, are we really enjoying the promos that we're getting today? 9 out of 10 times, at least, the answer is no. I'm concerned. That's a major problem. It starts with scripted promos. Let's cut that bullshit. The Performance Center and all this money is being pumped in to that Performance Center. And so much time is being taken away from these wrestlers so that they can go to class and learn how to cut promos instead of just being themselves and seeing if they can cut it or not. But there is a little bit of safety coming, a safety net, a savior in the form of AEW, because Tony Khan has already said the majority of their promos will not be scripted. He has promised that. So in AEW, when they're speaking, kind of like they do in New Japan Pro Wrestling, you might get some bullet points, but they're just going to go all out. Literally and figuratively. The Amplified Man. Thanks for joining me for this impromptu video. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Raw review and reaction. For now, let's give it some of that passion, right? The Amplified Man. Saying check you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.